Left off Baton Rouge.
Say again?
You say I'm left off Baton Rouge?
What'd you say?
You say I'm left off Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
Do it look like I'm left off Baton Rouge?
What'd you say?
Do it look like I'm left off Baton Rouge?
Hip-hop has always been built on skill, wordplay, and pure lyrical dominance. So when this new wave of so-called mumble rappers started flooding the scene with slurred verses, lazy hooks, and half-baked bars, the old-school legends weren't having any of it.
Right now, everybody trying to rap the same style with the, I don't know who created it, if it was Future or Migos, but all them sound the same. I had me in the studio one night trying to do that shit. I'm like, man, cut this.
Eminem ripped them apart in verses that went viral. Snoop Dogg laughed straight to the mic, and Joe Budden practically made it his life's mission to call them out every chance he got. Bottom line, they were saying, that ain't hip-hop.
Mumble rap.
I mean, in
Take the out of your mouth and speak clearly, young man. This mumble, blah, blah, blah. Speak clearly, let me hear what you're saying.
And that sparked one of the most heated generational debates the culture had ever seen.
Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang. I think we really made a mistake on this. I don't think they put everything in it. On a scale of 0 to 5, I couldn't even rate this because it's just that great. I mean, it's just incredible.
Back in 2017, a few of the Wu-Tang Clan's legendary members linked up in Montreal for a deep, emotional interview.
What you call a mumble rapper. Just yeah. So you say yeah after everything and make it wrong. It don't matter what it is. And for real, you can say anything. I just went to the store. Yeah. For the love. Yeah.
Naturally, the recent passing of Prodigy from Mobb Deep came up, and Wu showed nothing but respect, honoring his legacy, his lyrical sharpness, and his unshakable influence on New York's rap identity. But when the conversation switched gears to favorite New York MCs, that's when the room got electric.
I like Boogie with a hoodie. Boogie.
Names started flying. Ghostface, never one to sugarcoat, admitted he didn't vibe with most of the new cats.
I like Boogie. I like Young M.A.
But gave mad love to Dave East for keeping that raw New York essence alive.
Young M.A. Boogie.
Yeah.
Anybody rebel?
That's 3.
There's a guy from Staten Island. What's his name? Hoff?
I like Joey, man.
Joey Bad.
Joey back.
But Joey, I mean, Joey and the ASAP mob is doing it. Ferg.
I'm not saying that anybody's not worth me feeling. I'm just not listening anymore. I mean, look who I've been with. You know what I'm saying? Nas, Scarface. You know what I'm saying? Boss. You know what I'm saying? T.I. I don't even know what's going on in terms of what he's putting out. You know what I'm saying? I just know that it ain't me. I mean, I don't want to be influenced, you know, subliminally or you know, on top. I don't want to be influenced at all.
RZA threw props to a Boogie Wit to hoodie, and they even shouted out Young M.A., Joey Bada, the A.A.P. Mob, and Uncle Murda for holding their own in a new era of sound. Then came the big topic, mumble rap. The interviewer wanted to know exactly how Wu felt about this trend taking over the charts.
We come from the era where we have to have dope lyrics and all that, but we don't discriminate. And first, what is mumble rap? Who made that title? I bet you the guys who's doing it, they didn't call it mumble rap. That's what the media calls it, you know what I mean? So let them make their music and have fun.
And surprisingly, RZA didn't spit the usual old head hate. Instead, he almost defended it, saying he respected the creativity behind it, but hated the label itself.
I was gonna say to anybody out there who's sipping on that syrup and that's making you mumble, leave the syrup alone, man.
Definitely.
Nigga start hitting that syrup like nigga,
And that should be hits.
Music is music, man, he said with a grin. At first, what even is mumble rap anyway? Who made that title? I bet you the guys doing it didn't. RZA laughed, shaking his head.
It's just like one of those kind of vibes that people, they bounce. You don't have to be like a super great rapper in order to make it, and it's a lot of street dudes that get it in. That's what I see with the mumble rappers. It ain't like they could do a song with Rakim or they get respect, but they have a lot of, you know, they have a lot of fans and a lot of kids.
Don't call it mumble rap. That's what the media calls it. Let them make their music and have fun. He reminded everyone that Wu-Tang came from an era where bars, Wordplay and complex rhyme schemes were sacred, but he wasn't about to tear down a new generation just because they moved differently.
Was raised as a crew on East Coast rules. You gotta have lyrics, you gotta have content, you can't like nobody supposed to steal your stuff.
And it wasn't like this was the first time Wu had shown love to the youth. Ghostface Killah had already jumped on the remix of Rich Brian A.S. viral breakout hit Dat Stick, surprising everyone by embracing a new sound that most OGs wouldn't even touch. But here's where RZA drew a bold line. He refused to co-sign everything that came with that new wave.
The music going, it's gonna get harder.
I don't know, it depends on balls, you know, it's got big nuts like me, it's gonna get way harder. But it's got little nuts, it's gonna start getting back to a different type of rap.
He pointed out one of the biggest issues feeding the mumble rap label, lean. That dangerous codeine promethazine mix had become almost a lifestyle badge in the culture, and RZA wasn't afraid to check it. Anybody out there sipping on that syrup and that's making you mumble? Leave that syrup alone, man, RZA warned. His words cut through the laughs as the rest of the crew chimed in, cracking jokes about rappers slurring their bars and calling it art afterwards. It was funny, but it was real, because everyone knew that lean culture had deeply influenced the sound of that era. Fans couldn't deny it either. The syrup-soaked delivery, the foggy tone, the sleepy flow. It all became part of a vibe that dominated the charts, but left real lyricists frustrated.
I just want to see you care about the craft and really get in there and bust some bars. You listen to Kendrick Lamar. How can you hate Kendrick Lamar? He's spitting it, he's spitting. Yeah. We just want to hear people rhyme. That's it. That's it. So is that too much to add?
Suddenly, it wasn't about painting vivid stories or flexing pen skills anymore. It was about feeling, not thinking. And just when people thought that conversation had cooled off, another legend stepped in.
And later on, he said that the Migos are this generation's Beatles.
Well, I can't critique that because I don't know the Migos music that well.
You've never heard a single Migos song? You never heard a song Versace with Drake on it? Bad and Bougie, biggest song?
I heard the Beatles. I'm not a big Beatles fan either, The Beatles.
You've never heard a single Migos song?
I've never heard the Migos. I heard the Beatles. They play it since I'm born,
In an interview with Hip Hop News Uncensored, DMX was asked who he was feeling in the game. And his response was classic DMX. He said he wasn't really feeling anybody. Because honestly, he wasn't listening to anybody. DMX made it crystal clear.
Mumble rapping.
Mumble rap.
I mean, in rock...
Take the out of your mouth and speak clearly, young man. This mumble, blah, blah, blah. Speak clearly, let me hear what you're saying.
He already had his circle of respect locked in tight with Nas, Scarface, T.I., and a few others who earned that spot through raw consistency and music that actually meant something. For X, that was all he needed. No hype, no trends, just real ones who spoke from the soul.
Gang, Gucci 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 gang. I think we really made a mistake on this. I don't think they put everything in it. On a scale of 0 to 5, I couldn't even rate this because it's just that great. I mean, it's just...
But it went even deeper than taste. DMX revealed it was intentional. He didn't want to listen to new artists at all, not because of hate, but because he did not want their sound to rub off on him, not even on a subconscious level.
Press me. Whip it, I'm coming to stop it, dip it, I'm a dip it, the song, dip it, dip it, had to zip it, I was on the shoot.
Stop it. I've worked in the music business for more than 30 years and I've never seen such niggotry. It's just...
X was fiercely protective of his identity. His voice, his pain, his truth, those were sacred. He refused to risk watering them down just to fit into a world chasing clout and clicks.
Island boy, and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm a just island boy.
Speechless. Two goofballs in the pool.
You know why I'm not speechless?
Why?
Because I'm an island.
And that's where his real issue with mumble rap came in. To DMX, that whole movement lacked authenticity. It felt hollow. He saw it as catchy but empty entertainment, something that could fool fans for a quick summer, but couldn't stand the test of time. He said, "It's a trend, man. a moment in the wind, but it ain't built to last.
On sight, I would have faded. I would have beat his ass on everything. I swear to God, my life, I would have. I swear to God. If I ever see him, it's on.
What made his words sting even more was how true they felt. X believed his own legacy lived on because it came from pain, truth, and unfiltered emotion. When he rapped about his demons, faith, or struggle, you could feel it, not just hear it. That, he said, is what gives music longevity, the kind of impact that lives beyond charts or radio spins.
Hey, Eminem, you as lame as hell. Ain't nobody listening to your old you.
Then came another perspective, from two rap legends who knew something about being misunderstood.
The Eminem, Lil Pump, like, what was that about?
Who?
Eminem.
I don't remember that.
You don't even remember that. Huh, Pump? Yo, you bugged out. Yeah, this guy.
I even told you. I was like, my fault, I was asleep. I'm so sorry about that.
Crazy Bone and Busy Bone sat down with DJ Vlad in 2017 to share their take on the mumble rap wave.
It shows looking like cause they don't show up, which unfortunately means the money slow up.
Coming from Bone Thugs and Harmony, their opinion carried serious weight. They'd spent decades being labeled hard to understand because of their rapid-fire delivery and melodic twist, but they made it loud and clear.
What you told me?
Nah, man, we don't lie.
I really feel tried.
Nah, we ain't gonna do all that on live, man.
Man, gonna tell me, hey, run the business, don't try to run my life. What kind of side you gonna get wrong, man?
No, man, hell nah, I wasn't saying like that.
You'd think Ola would take the hint and cool off, but he kept up the same attitude.
What they did and what the new wave was doing were two completely different things. They were two completely different things. No question about it.
Say something to Mike. Listen, hold on, stop the music. Hold on. Hey, this is 50 though.
Busy Bone broke it down, explaining that mumble rap wasn't about lyrical mastery at all. It was more of a style, a sound that opened doors for artists who weren't necessarily lyrical powerhouses.
But look at my IG at least. Look at my IG at least. That's a hit me, go ahead. Good fight. I don't care. The take, man. No, come on, I don't care about the camera.
Instead of focusing on wordplay or technical skill, the new wave leaned into simple cadences, catchy hooks, and everyday vibes that made people feel something, even if the bars weren't deep. He even admitted that while most of these rappers could never go bar for bar with lyrical titans like Rakim or Eminem, that didn't mean they couldn't move the crowd. They built loyal fan bases and packed arenas, proof that connection sometimes mattered more than complexity.
Wrong against Tupac. I never dissed him because they edited the clip to make it look like I hate all old school hip hop.
But Bone Thugs still weren't letting it slide entirely. Busy emphasized how different their roots were compared to the new generation. Bone Thugs came up during the Golden East Coast era, when lyricism was king and every word carried weight. They were raised on the belief that if you touched a mic, you had to deliver real content, every single time.
You owe me 60 bands, and you have to perform the song right now in the crib. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? I'm giving you an out. I'm not Baby, I'm not Boosie. You don't owe me no 2 rags, 5 rags. You owe me 60 bands. I'm playing the song right now. You ready?
That discipline shaped their iconic sound. Fast, melodic, complex, yet always grounded in storytelling and heart. He pointed out that a lot of the new wave had clearly studied Bone Thugs and flow. You could hear it in the harmonies and rhythmic delivery. But many missed the deeper layer. They copied the style, but not the substance. They mastered the surface, but not the soul. That's where the real separation came in. Busy warned that music without message fades quick, while truth stands the test of time. And the wildest part? His old interviews almost sound prophetic now.
Y'all keep using that Drake shit, huh? Drake don't fuck with me either. Me and Drake don't talk. Me and Lil Baby don't talk. Nobody in the Osiris. So you tell me why should I keep living? I don't get it. Like why y'all saying like y'all would tell me all the time, but I'm giving y'all extra.
In one clip from way back in 1992, before the world even knew what mumble rap was, he practically predicted it. He spoke about artists losing their message, chasing trends, proving that Bone Thugs had seen the future long before it arrived. Back in the day, Pac was asked where he thought rap music was headed. Would it get harder or softer? And Pac, being Pac, broke it down with pure honesty and fire. He said it all depends on the kind of artists who rise up next. If the new generation came in with heart and courage, artists bold enough to speak their truth, challenge the system, and go against the grain, then rap would only get harder, rawer, and more real. But if softer voices took over, the industry would twist the culture into something totally different. He warned that it would become a world focused more on partying, flexing, and distraction, not pain, not truth, not struggle. And Pac didn't say that kind of rap was evil. He made it clear, if that S what an artist truly feels, then do it. But he drew the line when the industry and fans started calling that lightweight, party-driven sound hardcore. That, he said, was the moment hip-hop would start losing its roots. Looking back now, it's almost chilling how accurate Pac was. He predicted exactly what's happening today with the mumble rap era. Songs built on vibes, ad-libs, and hypnotic beats, but missing the soul that once defined the genre. No storytelling, no raw emotion, no lyrical imagery, just sound without depth. Even fans online can't help but talk about it. On Reddit and Twitter, people often debate what Pac and Biggie would think if they were still alive to hear this wave. One fan said, "They'd probably react the same way I do. What the hell is this ish? What happened to real rap?" Another fan joked that Pac and Big might actually squash their old beef just to unite and drop a sequel to Hit 'Em Up, a ruthless diss track that would obliterate the mumble rap scene. For Pac, it was never about hating the youth or being an old head clinging to the past. It was about the craft. Hip-hop, at its foundation, was built on lyrical precision, truth-telling, and stories that came straight from the gut. In his eyes, mumble rap wasn't just a trend, it was a step backward, a reflection of how far the industry had drifted from authenticity, soul, and purpose. Mumble rap, to its critics, stripped away the heart of hip-hop and replaced it with empty vibes and recycled sounds, catchy maybe, but hollow. Ice-T has said it best over the years. This new wave values sound over substance. It's not about what you say anymore, it's about how you say it. To him, that's a dangerous shift, a sign that hip-hop was losing its foundation, the poetry, the message, the meaning. But Ice-T isn't some bitter old head hating on the new wave. In fact, he's praised artists like Kendrick Lamar, calling him living proof that lyricism can still thrive in this era. To Ice, it's simple. He doesn't expect perfection. He just wants rappers to care. He summed it up perfectly. All I really want is for artists to respect the craft. To him, that S not too much to ask. It S about honoring the art form that gave them everything. Back in 2017, underground legend R.A. the Rugged Man sat down with Vlad TV, and of course, the conversation eventually turned to mumble rap. At the time, Migos were dominating the world with their smash hit, Bad and Bougé, a record so massive that even Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, shouted them out at the Golden Globes, calling Migos the Beatles of this generation. That single cosign sent their hype into another galaxy. But when Vlad asked R.A. for his take, the vibe flipped fast. Rugged Man casually admitted he had never even heard a Migos track, not even Bad and Bougé. So Vlad played it for him right there on camera, and R.A.'s reaction said it all. His face turned blank, unimpressed and confused. To him, the track sounded no different from the rest of what was flooding the charts at the time. Same flow, same vibe, no spark. He compared it to other records like Young M.A.'s "Ooh!" and said nothing about it stood out or made him feel anything real. Then he dropped the bomb. In one of the bluntest takes ever caught on camera, R.A. The Rugged Man looked dead at the screen and said, "Take the uck out your mouth and speak clearly, young man." He didn't hold back. He was saying what every frustrated purist had been thinking. For R.A., it wasn't about hating trends. It was about protecting standards. Clarity, articulation, and lyrical sharpness used to be non-negotiable. He couldn't accept a style where words got lost under slurs and hazy beats. To him, that wasn't evolution, it was erosion. And even though he didn't rant endlessly about it, he gave fans one unforgettable moment that showed exactly how deep his frustrations ran. During BET's Rate the Bars segment, where rappers read random lyrics and rate them, Scarface was sitting there vibing at first, smiling, nodding, giving props to clever bars when he saw them. But when those mumble rap lyrics hit the page, his reaction changed instantly, and the energy in the room shifted just as fast. You could see Scarface was genuinely impressed by some of the lyricism handed to him, but then came the curveball. Gucci Gang by Lil Pump. The page in front of him was basically Gucci Gang repeated over and over with almost no substance between the lines, and Scarface looked stunned. You could tell he couldn't believe what he was reading. His whole vibe flipped from impressed to sarcastic disbelief. He laughed, gave it the lowest score, and tossed it aside. No long rant needed. His reaction said everything. For a man who built his career on layered, meaningful lyrics, a song that is just one phrase on repeat felt almost insulting and showed how far removed this wave was from the craftsmanship he grew on. When it comes to calling out mumble rap, R.A. Hobson didn't just rant. He roasted it with comedy. Instead of long tirades, he used skits, parody videos, and exaggerated characters to lampoon the style. He mimicked the slurred delivery, the weird ad-libs, and the fashions, turning them into clear caricatures that made the point loud and funny. The satire landed because it exposed a real issue. A lot of these tracks sounded interchangeable, leaned on image over skill, and skipped substance for shock or trend. Hobson's wild, comedic take echoed what older legends were saying, hitting the same nerve but with a punchline. Then the Island Boys dropped their pool freestyle for Island Boy, and the clip landed in Snoop and Kevin Hart's hands during a segment where they reacted to viral TikToks. They couldn't hide their embarrassment and ripped into the clip with jokes right after it ended. The reaction was brutal and fast. Fly from Island Boys didn't take the roast lightly. He fired off heated messages aimed mostly at Snoop and Kevin Hart, threatening to settle it in person if seen. Those threats blew up online and got people talking. But Snoop stayed cool and actually found the whole meltdown amusing. He trolled back on Instagram with a playful caption like, "I don't want no smoke," and his followers quickly reminded everyone that trying to pick a fight with Snoop Dogg is a bad idea. The heat calmed fast. Fly eventually backtracked and issued an apology, stepping back from his initial threats. In the end, the whole episode showed how quickly viral moments can blow up, how jokes turn into real drama, and how the tension between old-school craft and new-wave antics keeps sparking conversations. My bad. I didn't mean to come for Snoop. Fly backed off and showed respect, and all love to Snoop Dogg because he inspired so many of us. Still, Fly said he felt slighted by how Snoop was talking, and as a human being, you get defensive when someone seems to throw shade at you out loud. But when it comes to who's been loudest about mumble-style rap, Eminem took no prisoners. On his surprise album Kamikaze, he launched a lyrical assault, calling out the new wave left and right, and even name-checking Lil Yachty as an example. M made his point by mocking the sound itself. He interpolated Migos, Bad and Boujee, and flipped Lil Pump's Gucci Gang ad flow, just to show how absurd some of it felt. Some of the younger rappers fired back. Lil Pump jumped online and talked trash about Eminem, claiming nobody listens to M anymore. But after getting roasted by the internet, Pump acted like he forgot the whole thing. Sudden amnesia, huh? Then things escalated when Machine Gun Kelly crossed a line and brought family into the fight, and that didn't sit right with M. Eminem answered with "not alike," a ruthless rebuttal that clapped back at MGK for jokes about Haley and other shots. That exchange showed the rules. You step into certain arenas, you better be ready for consequences. MGK hit back with Rap Devil, a full-blown diss aimed at M, and the internet blew up. It was classic modern beef, fast, loud, messy, and impossible to ignore. But it also proved that old-school vets still defend their lanes and won't back down. There were threats, and wild lines thrown around, some of them over the top. But a lot of the heat came from misunderstanding the craft, thinking childish jabs or violent boasts get you respect overnight. In the end, the clash between mumble-style stars and lyrical vets became one of rap's biggest chapters, showing the culture's split between vibe and skill. This saga proved one thing: respect still matters in hip-hop, and nobody gives it away for free. The streets smelled the smoke, and everyone picked a side. Machine Gun Kelly's Rap Devil was a direct shot aimed straight at Eminem, no sugarcoating, no subtlety. He taunted M for taking so long to respond and accused him of being out of touch, rapping, "Took you 6 years and a surprise album just to come with a diss." It was bold, disrespectful, and exactly the kind of poke that M doesn't ignore. But then MGK made the one mistake no one expected him to repeat. He brought up Haley again. He mocked M's fatherhood, saying, "Tough talk from a rapper paying millions for security a year. I think my dad's gone crazy." "Yeah, Haley, you right. Dad's always mad, cooped up in the studio yelling at the mic. You're sober and bored, huh? About to be 46 years old, dog." At that point, the crowd knew MGK wasn't just poking the bear, he was punching it in the face. It was only a matter of time before Eminem fired back, and when he did, he unleashed Killshot, a lyrical nuke that ended the argument for most fans. The track was brutal, precise, and packed with classic M venom, including one of the most savage bars of the decade. "Here is that autograph for your daughter. I wrote it on a starter cap. Stan's son, listen man, Dad isn't mad. But how you gonna name yourself after a damn gun and have a man bun?" That one line alone went viral, instantly turning Killshot into a cultural event. The song dominated headlines, streaming charts, and debates across social media. Everyone had an opinion, but most agreed Eminem had buried MGK with pure lyrical warfare. Still, M wasn't done just yet. Fast forward to 2020, he surprise dropped Music to Be Murdered By, and on the track Unaccommodating, he took one final cold shot at MGK, this time treating the entire beef like an afterthought. He rapped, "But when they ask me, is the war finished with MGK? Of course it is. I cleansed him of his mortal sins. I'm God, and the Lord forgives, even the devil worshippers." That bar hit like a tombstone. MGK, by then, had switched lanes completely, trading bars for guitars and jumping into pop-punk. While he claimed it was artistic evolution, fans couldn't help but joke that Eminem had literally dissed him out of hip-hop. And just to make it even more ironic, later that same year, MGK dropped 1985, a track that almost sounded like a farewell letter to the rap game itself, marking the end of one of the wildest and most one-sided beefs modern hip-hop had ever witnessed. The track 1985, named after the year J. Cole was born, hit different. It wasn't just a song, it was a message. In it, Cole reflects on turning 33 and how his mindset had evolved from chasing hype to protecting legacy. But he didn't stop there. He used the track to directly address the mumble rap generation, giving them the kind of tough love most weren't ready to hear. He spit raw truth, saying, "I know you think this type of revenue is never ending, but I want to take a minute just to tell you that that ain't true." He warned that fame built on trends is fragile, because one day those same kids who turned you viral will grow up, move on, and stop showing up. He rapped, "Now your show's looking light because they don't show up," which unfortunately means the money slow up. That line hit the culture like a reality check no one saw coming. Cole broke it down like a mentor, saying that when you build your whole identity on a moment instead of mastery, you end up scrambling later, desperate to get hot again. He rapped, "You forgot you only popped 'cause you was riding trends. Now you old news and going through regrets." The message was clear. Hype fades, but artistry lasts forever. He contrasted that with rappers who built real legacies, artists like Eminem, Drake, and himself, whose voices, flows, and brands were instantly recognizable. You never confuse them because they carved their own lanes instead of copying the next man. Cole was calling out the younger generation not to humiliate them, but to wake them up. To him, it wasn't hate. It was tough truth wrapped in rhythm and bars. The irony? 1985 became one of the most impactful diss tracks of that era, and it wasn't even about violence or name-calling. It was about wisdom, but it definitely touched a nerve, especially with Lil Pump, who felt directly targeted by Cole's bars, particularly the line about not having a house. Fans joked that Cole hit him so hard lyrically that he ran straight to a realtor. Not long after the track dropped, Lil Pump proudly flexed a brand new $4.5 million mansion, clearly a reaction to the song. But that move only proved Cole ES point. Spending big to prove you re-winning instead of investing in longevity is exactly what traps rappers in cycles of regret. Cole wasn't just throwing shots, he was dropping game. He was reminding the world that trends fade fast, but timeless truth always survives the noise. And with 1985, J. Cole cemented himself not only as a lyricist, but as one of the last voices truly holding the new generation accountable. So, who really came out on top in that back and forth? J. Cole, obviously. But the rap game kept moving, and so did the drama. Back in 2019, Gucci Mane spotted potential in a rising Atlanta rapper named Ola and decided to sign him. Gucci even jumped on a few tracks to help boost his career. Everything looked solid until one Instagram Live changed everything. During the stream, Gucci casually mentioned he might finish a song they were working on later that night. Instead of playing it cool, Ola started wilding out, talking slick and pressing Gucci about when he'd actually get it done. Gucci, being Gucci, wasn't about to let that disrespect slide on live. He checked Ola right there, making it clear that kind of energy doesn't fly around him. You'd think Ola would have backed down after that public reality check, but nope. He kept that same attitude, and Gucci had enough. Soon after, he dropped Ola from the label completely. Since then, Ola's career has stalled, proving that going against Gucci Mane, especially in public, is a terrible career move. Then there was Trav, a former G-Unit affiliate who found himself getting checked by none other than 50 Cent, live on stage with Meek Mill. The two were performing when suddenly 50 turned toward Trav, said something sharp, and gave him a firm push. The tension was thick, and everyone could see 50 wasn't joking. Meek Mill and the crew rushed to calm things down, with Meek stepping in fast, saying he and Trav were like family. Thankfully, his quick thinking stopped things from exploding, but it was still a major reminder. 50 Cent is not someone you play with. And that wasn't the only time 50 showed his short fuse. Another incident went down while he was out having dinner with his girlfriend, Nicki Nicole, just trying to enjoy a quiet night. Out of nowhere, a young rapper ran up to him, furious that 50 hadn't checked out his music. The guy kept pushing, literally and verbally, telling 50 to look at his Instagram and asking if he was scared to listen. But 50 stayed calm until the dude got too close. Then that trademark cold stare came out. You could tell by his face it was almost go time. The situation quickly drew attention, but just like always, 50 handled it without breaking a sweat. Another day, another person learning the hard way that testing legends rarely ends well. The whole thing was caught on camera. The young rapper's friend filmed everything, clearly hoping to spark a viral moment at 50 Cent's expense. But instead of getting clout, the clip backfired instantly. 50 kept his composure, but firmly put the guy in his place, letting him know that this aggressive, entitled approach wasn't going to earn him respect or a record deal. You could feel the tension, but 50 never lost control. Luckily, no punches were thrown, but the moment still blew up online overnight. As expected, the rapper tried to stretch his 15 seconds of fame, posting new clips and even challenging 50 to a fight. He thought he could ride the wave to promote his music, but fans saw straight through the act. Things got worse when he stirred up even more controversy, this time by disrespecting Tupac Shakur in an interview. In what became one of the most tone-deaf moments in recent hip-hop memory, he called Tupac's music boring and rated Pac a 2 out of 10 on what he called music clout, a ridiculous scale he claimed measured an artist's influence and cool factor. The backlash was instant and brutal. Twitter exploded within hours. Old heads, new fans, and even rappers from every corner of the culture came out swinging. One viral tweet said it best: "Nobody should be surprised Lil Xan disrespected Tupac. Y'all let these little culture vultures get too comfortable. Now they think they can say anything." Another user went straight for the jugular, posting, "This coming from a rapper named after a drug? Tupac was a poet. Universities teach his lyrics. Something you'll never understand or experience." The replies were relentless, and soon major artists started weighing in. Waka Flocka Flame jumped into the fire first, declaring that Lil Xan was officially banned from hip-hop. Then T.I. stepped in and co-signed that statement, echoing the frustration of an entire generation that grew up on Pac's message, not just his music. For them, it was not just about disrespect. It was about defending the roots of an art form built on struggle, storytelling, and soul. Once the smoke settled, Lil Xan realized he had gone way too far. What he thought would be a moment of rebellion turned into a career-denting controversy. His attempt to chase viral fame had backfired completely, proving one harsh truth that never changes in hip-hop: you can build clout by tearing down legends. Lil Xan tried to make amends by performing Tupac's legendary California Love at one of his shows, hoping fans would finally forgive him. But by then, the damage was beyond repair. The crowd wasn't buying it, and the backlash just kept coming. What started as internet drama took a dark turn when Xan nearly found himself in a shootout in downtown Los Angeles. He and his girlfriend, Annie Smith, were at a gas station when someone recognized him and brought up those infamous Tupac comments. Voices got loud, the situation heated up, and the tension was thick. Xan didn't say much in the moment, but later jumped on Instagram to explain everything. He admitted that he had pulled out a gun, claiming, "The media's gonna twist it. I was about to be attacked and had to defend myself. F all you old heads still talking about that Tupac-ish. Live your life and stop picking on a kid." The post only made things worse. Fans saw it as another immature outburst, and the hate grew even louder. A week later, Xan tried to backtrack, saying, "I never dissed Tupac." They edited the clip to make it look like I hate all old-school hip-hop. But by that point, no one was listening anymore. His reputation as one of the most disrespectful new-school rappers was locked in for good. Then came another wild story from the industry: YK Osiris, a singer known for catchy tracks and big energy, but lately, for all the wrong reasons. Word spread fast that Osiris had been borrowing money from big-name rappers and not paying them back. Then in late 2021, a viral video dropped showing Drake manhandling him on a basketball court, literally picking him up and pushing him aside like a younger brother. But that was just the beginning. Not long after, another clip surfaced showing Drake taking things up a notch, clowning Osiris over the $60,000 he owed him. Drake told him straight up that this wasn't pocket change, then made him perform his own hit song, "Worth It," in front of everyone to pay off part of the debt. The crowd laughed. Drake smirked, and Osiris looked humiliated, but he played along, trying to save face. After that, Osiris seemed to spiral. By October 2022, he went live on Instagram, visibly emotional, saying he wasn't rocking with Drake or anyone in the industry anymore. His voice cracked as he said, "Y'all keep using that Drake shit," calling out fake friendships and the way fame had twisted everything around him. Fans flooded the comments with concern, realizing how deep the toll of money, pride, and pressure had hit him. Now, with time passing, reports say YK Osiris has paid off most of his debts and stepped back from the spotlight to get his life right again. Hopefully, he's found some peace after a stretch that nearly broke him. Because if there's one thing stories like his, and Lil Xan's, keep proving, it's that in this industry, clout fades, but consequences don't. Respect lasts longer than fame, and one bad move can turn your entire come-up into a cautionary tale.